along with Al Rouse, Paul Nunn and Rab Carrington, were inspirational mountaineers whose ascents I'd followed avidly. Suddenly, I found myself drinking with them in Sheffield pubs. There was a huge inclusivity in this climbing scene. At any party, Paul Nunn could be found in deep conversation, dispensing wisdom to young rock stars like Andy Pollitt, Ben Moon, or Geoffrey Moffat, with Don Willans in a corner, teaching Johnny Dawes hard lessons in etiquette. There was no sense of separation, of arrogance or superiority. There were no generational boundaries, and advice was freely given. More information and vital contacts could be garnered in one night than could ever be gained from the Alpine Club library. Simon Yates and I did exactly that, gleaning all we needed from Rab, Al and Brian, who pointed us in the direction of Sula Grande. Watch out for the rockfall. It was bad, Rab warned. Off we went, and the rest was history. The loss of Paul Nunn stunned me. I think many of us made the mistake of thinking he was indestructible. Quite a few of us quietly braced ourselves when others departed, knowing the probability of some not returning was high, but never with Paul. He had been everywhere, done everything, and seemed to know everything. His wily, shrewd judgments made him the safest of climbers, but he and Jeff Tier were overwhelmed by a massive icefall while descending from the summit of Haramush II. At the age of 52, halfway through his stint as president of the British Mountaineering Council, he was gone. If Paul could be wiped out so easily, any of us could. Reading Brian's account, I was astonished by his young age, as he seemed to have lived forever. Later in the book, I was equally astonished to learn that his great friend and mentor, Tom Patey, was only 38 when he died. Both these men packed so much into their years, it seemed that they had been around for lifetimes. Everyone had plans, expeditions organised, trips on the go. There was a constant churn of people setting off and returning, but sometimes not returning. We lived in a febrile atmosphere, full of nervous excitement, buzzing with energy. Pushing boundaries in the Himalayas and the Karakoram, we thought we could do anything. We were immortal, awash with youthful arrogance. This insane confidence was inherited from Brian's generation, who had shown the way. Off we went to the mountains, but we also went to an awful lot of memorial services. Each generation pushes on to new heights, advances in equipment raising technical standards year on year. Protection on ice climbs in their heyday was dubious at best, when to place 3 ice screws on a 50-metre frozen waterfall required the energy to power a small city. Climbers today could happily put in 10. Heightened fitness, training and psychology all play their part, and today the leading climbers put up ascents thought impossible barely a decade ago. The 1970 British Annapurna South Face expedition was the first Himalayan climb to take a deliberately difficult route up the face of an 8,000-metre mountain. After 8 days, Don Willans and Dougal Haston reached the summit of Annapurna 1, which, at 8,091 metres, is the highest peak in the Annapurna Massif. It was a massive advance in Himalayan climbing, as was the southwest face of Everest expedition 5 years later. Chris Bonington led the team, using advanced climbing techniques to put fixed ropes up the steep south face. Apart from all else, such expeditions were difficult to finance. By the 1980s, though, speed and lightweight tactics had blown away the era of heavyweight siege expeditions. In 1986, Swiss climbers Erhard Lohitan and Jean Troyer climbed through the night, alone, up and down Everest's north face in an astounding 43 hours. The next generation went even further, with the young Swiss alpinist Ueli Steck soloing the south face of Annapurna in 2013, completed in only 28 hours. Brian Hall's generation, the climbers so fondly remembered in this book, built the bridge between the old and the new. As his narrative draws to a close...